In House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 8, which is the Season 2 finale, Rhaenyra Targaryen and Aeomond Targaryen, along with 4 other dragons and dragon riders and joined by Corlys Valerian's forces from the sea, will take King's Landing from Aegon and the Greens. Aemond and Rhaenyra will first reunite at Harrenhal, when Rhaenyra flies there as we can see her and her dragon here, and then leave to attack King's Landing together. Aemond and Criston Cole will reach Harrenhal to find it abandoned. Rhaena will have scenes with Sheepstealer. Rhaenyra's sons are traveling towards Pentos, while at the same time the Triarchy, the newest ally of the Greens, is sailing towards Westeros. Corlys Velaryon and his son Aelin will be sailing towards King's Landing as a part of Rhaenyra's army. Larys will smuggle King Aegon out of King's Landing, and Alicent leaves the capital and travels to Dragonstone as a messenger to ask Rhaenyra to split the Seven Kingdoms in two, which Rhaenyra refuses. Alicent later leaves for Old Town, and Otto Hightower is finally back. The fall of King's Landing happens while the Battle of the Gullet, in which Jacaerys dies, has been moved to Season 3. We'll only see the Triarchy ship sailing towards the Gullet at the end of Season 2, as we can see in this shot as a little tease about what's to come in Season 3. Rhaenyra will fly her dragon Caraxex to Harrenhal, as we can see right here, to meet with Aemon. Rhaenyra goes to Harrenhal in order to plan how the assault on King's Landing will be carried out with her husband Aemon, who has amassed a large number of the Riverland soldiers there. The prelude to the fall of King's Landing is Aemond, Prince Regent and Protector of the Realm, taking out all armies from King's Landing including his dragon Vaghar, and marching to face Daemon at Harrenhal, which leaves King's Landing defenseless. This is an opportunity which Rhaenyra will use to gain the Iron Throne. Daemon abandons Harrenhal when Aemond and Criston begin marching on the Great Castle with a host of Greens. Daemon on Caraxex and Queen Rhaenyra on Syrax fly to King's Landing, joined by Rhaenyra's new dragons and their dragon riders Adam and Seasmoke, Hugh and Vermithor, Ulf and Silverwing, while Jacaerys stays behind with Wormax and Baela with Moondancer to protect Dragonstone. The fleet of the Sea Snake, Lord Corlys Velaryon, also sails for King's Landing and arrives to the east of the Blackwater Bay. The sight of Daemon on Caraxex and Rhaenyra on Syrax over King's Landing sends the city into a panic. The Greens try to send riders to bring back Aemond and ravens to lead lords, but their efforts are quickly stopped. Unknown to the Greens is that the Gold Cloaks, the city watch of King's Landing, have turned. The Gold Cloaks have always been loyal to Daemon, who had once been their leader. When Grand Maester Orwyle goes to dispatch ravens, he is beaten and bound by Gold Cloaks as he arrives in his chambers. The 7 commanders of the city gates who have been chosen for their loyalty to King Aegon are either imprisoned or killed the moment Daemon and Caraxex are spotted over the Red Keep. There's a battle for King's Landing, but it's pretty much one-sided and the city falls within a day. King Aegon escapes the fall of King's Landing. He's smuggled out by Larry Strong. Aegon disguises as one of the small folk and escapes on a fishing boat, later arriving on Dragonstone, where he convinces several blacks to defect and help him take the island. During the fall of Dragonstone, he fights Princess Baela Targaryen, both of them mounted on dragons. Otto Hightower and Jesper Wilde are executed for treason, but the show might change Otto's death with Helena's. Lords Rosby and Stokeworth try to switch their allegiances back to Rhaenyra, but she refuses and orders their executions. While this is happening at King's Landing, at Harrenhal, Aemond and Criston finally arrive to find the castle empty, thinking they gained the upper hand. At first, Aemond sees this as a great victory, but he's outraged upon learning that Daemon has flown away on Caraxex to aid Rhaenyra with the fall of King's Landing. After recapturing Harrenhal, Aemond orders the deaths of Sir Simon Strong and his kin. Alice Rivers is spared, however, and becomes Aemond's bedmate. At King's Landing, Queen Rhaenyra seizes the Iron Throne, although many lords note she cut herself upon the throne, starting rumors that the throne has rejected her. At first, the population of the city will welcome Rhaenyra's ascent to the Iron Throne, as Aegon II and Aemond have not been much loved. In time, however, with more executions happening daily and more taxes being raised to fund the wars, the population will begin to hate Rhaenyra, calling her the new King Maegor the Cruel. Rhaenyra cutting herself on the throne while Aegon not cutting himself even though he was sitting on it in pretty much every position, which should have resulted in it cutting him is an interesting detail. The people of Westeros believe that when the throne cuts a king or queen, it's a sign that the Iron Throne is rejecting the monarch, deeming them unworthy to rule. While we see the battle in episode 8, the aftermath of it, including Rhaenyra sitting on the Iron Throne, will not take place before season 3. Another thing that was supposed to take place in season 2 but has been pushed to season 3 is Battle of the Gullet, which was supposed to happen before the fall of King's Landing, but has been pushed to Season 3 due to shortened season and due to the showrunners wishing to keep Jacaerys a little bit more alive. In Season 2, we'll see the Triarchy leader Vaghar meeting with the Greens, forging an alliance with the Greens, and we'll even see 90 of their ships sailing towards the Gullet as we can see here. But it's only a little teaser for what's to come in Season 3. The Triarchy fleet of warships under the banners of the Three Daughters, commanded by the Triarchy's Admiral Vaghar of Lys, will move from the Stepstones sailing towards the Gullet. On their way, they will intercept the ship carrying Rhaenyra's sons. When Jacaerys, who stayed at Dragonstone while everyone else flew to take King's Landing, learns about this, he will immediately mount and fly his Dragon Vermax in one of the bloodiest sea battles in all of the history of Westeros, and will be later joined by Ulf and Silverwing, Hugh and Vermithor, and Rhaena and Sheepstealer. But Jacaerys and his Dragon Vermax will die in the battle. But back to Season 2 Episode 8. Alicent will leave King's Landing and travel to Dragonstone to meet with Rhaenyra. Alicent will plead for peace, petitioning that the Seven Kingdoms should be divided between Rhaenyra and Aegon, with Aegon taking regions that stand with him, the Stormlands, Westerlands and the Reach, ruling his new realm from Old Town, while Rhaenyra would rule the regions which stand with her, the Crownlands, Riverlands, the Vale, the Iron Islands, and the North from King's Landing and from the Iron Throne. Rhaenyra will reject and proceed with her plan of taking King's Landing. The same proposal and conversation happens in the book as well, but at King's Landing, and after the capital has fallen to Rhaenyra. In Episode 8, we'll also see Rhaena fly Sheepstealer and deciding to join the rest of the Team Black instead of going with Rhaenyra's children that she sent away to Pentos, and to at least ensure their safety until they reach their destination, which in the show will be a reason Rhaenyra starts to resent Rhaena, as this choice will ultimately cost Rhaenyra her children's lives as well as their dragons. In the Season 2 finale, Rhaenyra's children with a small dragon are traveling to Pentos following Rhaenyra's instructions, but Rhaena is not protecting them herself as she promised she would. Instead of going with them, Rhaena, who will claim the wild dragon Sheepstealer and replace Nettles on the show, will fly away to join everyone at King's Landing. This will turn out to be a grave mistake as the Triarchy's ships are sailing straight towards them. The Triarchy is an alliance of the free cities of Myr, Lys and Tyrosh. We saw them fighting against Aeomond at the Stepstones. Next we know is that Otto Hightower is back and is going to have a few scenes in Episode 8. In the book, after Rhaenyra and the Blacks take King's Landing, Otto is the first to be beheaded as a traitor, but on the show they might change his death with Helena's, although it would not be Rhaenyra who kills her. Alicent's story is changed from the book, and instead of being at King's Landing when the city falls and taken by Rhaenyra, she visits Rhaenyra at Dragonstone. House of the Dragon Season 2 finale will see Rhaenyra and Alicent meet again, Rhaenyra flying to Harrenhal to reunite with Daemon and plan how to take King's Landing, and then the two flying over to King's Landing and taking the city in the battle for King's Landing. We'll see many armies on the march from both sides. Rhaenyra and Daemon on Caraxex and Syrax will be accompanied with 4 more dragons, and by Sea Snake's fleet, and they will take the city while the Triarchy is sailing towards Rhaenyra's children. Those are the main highlights of Episode 8, the final episode of this season. What do you think about it? Is there something else you hoped would happen? Do you think this is going to be a good finale? Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below.